Hey, good morning. I thought I would show you the progress of my Book of Shadows. I've had started this about 16 to 18 years ago. What I bought was a 3-ring binder with a fairly stiff cover and back cover. Just recently, I took a piece of fabric that I liked and I covered the entire top with Mod Podge and I trimmed it around the edges and I covered the book both sides with a nice purple iridescent, and then I took scraps of fabric that I enjoyed and I also Mod Podged them into my book along with some pieces of decoration that I used in my house, semi-precious stones that I want for my book. There's a nice CD compartment which I had made discs for so I could have them readily available. Then I have been printing out things for years, and what I've done after I turn this is I used tabs, and I created tabs for every subject that I needed. I used page protectors, and I got fancy paper and printed out this, which is like the Wiccan Read. The tabbed portions are page protectors with pictures that I found on the internet that I printed out and I posted onto cardboard and put in. So there's the elements, there's spell working. Obviously I started to get a little bit fancier as I went on. Scrapbooking scissors, and I cut and pasted, and that's my Wheel of the Year section. Most of them have a nice picture in the front for whatever subject that I like. I've printed out things that I thought were important, rewritten and wrote pages that were specific for whatever I was working on. So this is moon correspondences. As you go along, well, I didn't have as much paper as I used to, so this is like magical correspondences that I found online. So I printed those out and put them in. I had the fortune to find a complete list, A to Z, of different magical correspondences for herbs. So I printed those out and put them in. Here we go. I even put in a bibliography to let me know what books I've studied, the title of the book, so that way I could come back to it at another time. And in the back, pens and pencils, business cards, and a folder for miscellaneous things that I even haven't gotten to, or I needed to put in my book. There's even a piece of like a costume from a Seder that I did years ago. Now recently, I bought a new book because my tarot section of my old book was getting a little bit thick. So I found this fabric. It's glow in the dark, it's tarot cards. It's at Joann's currently this year. So I did the same thing. I Mod Podged, except this time I Mod Podged up to about half an inch to the edge, and I took a X-Acto knife and I cut out along the seam and then Mod Podge the edges in, so it looks a lot better and a lot neater. So again, I've just started this book, but I moved things over again with the scrapbooking scissors and some of my older paperwork on generic stuff. And then, yes, I started printing things that I found. Biddy Tarots, quick card meanings, The Fool's Journey that I found on LearnTarot.com. Then I break down everything by the suits. And originally, what I did was took a picture that I found of the Rider-Waite. I used to be running the tarot group in Charlotte for a number of years, so I would post on a daily basis one of the cards. So I took all the information that I had written. I had some nice tidbits from LearnTarot.com and another one, ata-tarot.com, and highlighted those so you could differentiate from what I wrote to what I found. And I have all the suits, which I haven't put any pictures or room dividers in yet. Obviously, I have no tab marks. When we get further into it, I've decided to make a separate section for court cards. And yes, anything that I found that I thought was interesting or that meant something to me, I've printed out. Then the whole back of my book currently is tarot spreads, which I take tarot spreads. I found a font that I liked. I took it into Photoshop and I made one little box. Then I would copy and paste the box, and usually I would put the numbers in. This one I unfortunately didn't. But any spread that I find, I will just put into my computer in Word or in Photoshop. Here I've just done a list of 2 card spreads, 3 card spreads, and what potential meanings they could be. Sometimes I got lazy and didn't bother, but most of the time I have gone through and redone whatever spread and layout I found and put it out there in my book. And so far I'm not complete yet, because my current plans is to take both of my books with another witchy font that I like, and I'm gonna write, Grimoire of, and then my magical name, and Tarot Grimoire of my magical name. And I haven't obviously gotten to put any fabric within the covers, but at the current time I'm working on a few projects, so there's a new fabric that I'll be making a dress shirt out of, so the scraps of that will be going into my book, as well as another print that I found that I'm making a party shirt out of, and I'm sure scraps of that will end up in my book. And then I also took some of my tarot book fabric that I liked, and I made myself a zippered pouch for my tarot. And I'm excited because I've never done a zipper in a pouch before. So, okay, I've actually got a zipper pouch. I've got my tarot cards wrapped in the same fabric that's on my book. And then right next to it is my box for my new Dark Manor Tarot deck, which I made sure that my bag could fit into it so I could close it all up and keep everything safe. So that's how I've done my tarot book. A little bit OCD, but whenever I need anything, it's right at my fingertips and I can get to it pretty quickly. So if you have any questions, let me know.